All right, legends, let's go short, sweet, and simple for our Tuesday morning video. The three teams that I'm going to be looking to target with the trades that I've got here in my bank, and then the teams that you should be targeting as well, which would be really cool. So we'll kick it off with the Tigers. Their next three games they play, and then they do have a bye in round 26. So definitely not a team I'd be targeting. Very easy to hold. Obviously, Fainu. Ruben Porter is an interesting one as a purchase. If you're only on one Tiger or zero Tigers, I think Porter's probably the guy that you could have a look at. Dream Buller is a bit of a fun one potentially, and their run's not too bad with Knights, Bunnies, Eagles, bye, and then Eels to finish off. So not too shabby, but one bye there remaining. For the Titans there, they've got the Sharkies, Dragons, and the Roosters. So a fairly tough little stretch of games for them, but they are playing really well, and I think they'll stick in these games against Sharks, Dragons, and Roosters pretty comfortably, the way that they're playing at the moment. You've got Keeney in there that, is Brimson going to be back? Keeney's just been awesome. And, Campbell is a guy that has halted his price rises, which is nice. You got Bofo Moore, you got Fafita, so there's plenty of options there as well. Dolphins, you've got the Warriors, Bulldogs, and Storm for them before the Broncos and Knights. I can't believe they've got the red on them, obviously from the start of the season, making the grand final. But for the Finns there, pretty sort of solid run for them, and I think it's more just holds for the Dolphins right now. No real buys for them at this stage. The Storm, still a bit of a percentage chance of resting for them, whether it's round 26 or 27, but the next three, it's Bunnies away, into Panthers away, and Dolphins home. So just the Panthers one that they'll have to worry about, the guys that are the big attacking play type of scorers against the Panthers, but against Bunnies here, I think they should be fine. And then the Finns are as well. They've got a few more injuries, the Bunnies, unfortunately. And Cody Walker does return, likely, which is good as well. For the Sharkies there, they've got the Titans, they've got the Knights, and they've got the Dragons. So just a couple of guys that could potentially be bought. Obviously, Trindle, hopefully he does back up and play. Probably wouldn't buy him now. Wilton's still really cheap, coming off a bit of a lower score, but he could easily have a big one this week. He does come up against Bofo Moore, who gets plenty of touches, and should be able to get some good tackle numbers up on that front as well, which would be helpful. No one else clearly big targets for them. You've got guys like McInnes are really solid as well. From the Panthers, they have a decent chance of resting as well at some point here at the end of the season. Just keep aware of that. But Eels away into Storm home and Raiders away. I don't think there's any troubles in that for guys like Cleary. Sorensen, we're going to wait and see if he's going to be named this afternoon. We've got Dylan Edwards potentially coming back soon. He could be a fun one as a guy that maybe if he plays next week, you've got that Storm clash, and then he likely is to play the final four games. Who knows, actually, with that one. They probably will rest him in that last game. If he gets three in a row, I think, it's probably worth a resting. But if he comes back with like two or three rounds to go, you'd say probably not a rest, and it's going to be a fun little matchup there. Raiders, Rabbitohs, Titans, if he gets that opportunity. Bunnies there, they've got the Storm. They've got the Tigers away, so Tigers in they played them 2 weeks ago as well, and they play them this week as well, in a couple of weeks as well, which is cool. And then the Knights at home, so a fun little 3-game stretch. I think the Storm game won't be too bad for him, and I have 4 players myself, and I'm hoping to get some good scores out of them over the next 5 games. And they're not the worst team to target, but I think it could just be like at this stage you're buying like Cook. That's probably there with the Bunnies, with the Trell looking likely to not come back this year, or potentially just for a couple of rounds. Casualty Ward has him down at round 26 now. I think they said he's going to be in a moon boot until round 24, so we'll see how that one plays out. The Doggies, I've got them in number 2 as the buys of the week, very close to the Knights, and I've got the Eagles in number 1. But the Doggies there, they got the Dragons away into Dolphins at home, Warriors away, so a pretty nice little stretch for them, and they're playing really good footy. So guys like Karaz, obviously there as a good one. You've had Curran as an easy hold, and Matt Burton and these types of guys are good purchases with Preston. So they're number 2 on my list as a buy, just because of the amount of plays you can go for there. Eels, they've got the Panthers, Roosters, and the Broncos. One of them against Panthers at home, but then the 2 next games away, which will be pretty tough for them. Not really anyone you would look to target, but just holding Madison, you're holding Bryce Cartwright, Dylan Brown, these types of guys. They're Brendan Hands. Easy guys to hold on to in that one. And then the Raiders, they are the other red, tougher draw there with Eagles, Cowboys, and Panthers, with 2 home games and 1 away in North Queensland. Playing better footy, obviously, but still some tougher matchups for them, and don't expect a clinic in terms of points like they've been able to do in other games against slightly lesser opponents. They've been able to put some decent points on, so 4, 5, 6 tries. I don't see that happening, especially against the Panthers, but it could be a slow one against an Eagles team that has Olakau'atu returning. They've got potentially Kohler coming back this week as well. We'll see how that one plays out. And then the Cowboys in good form as well. But the Dragons, another team, not really one you want to target. Dogs, Titans, and Sharks that they have in that one there. Just holding on to your stars. You've got Lomaxes, these types of players. Eisenhuth potentially as well. The Knights have got them as the third best buys of the week. They have a nice run now that they've got through their bye. And they've got through the Panthers. They've got the Tigers at home this week. So a really good week to purchase them. Just like last week was a good week to purchase someone like Val Holmes or Drinky up against the Tigers. This will be the same for the Knights. You've got the Sharkies and then the Bunnies away. Titans at home, Dolphins at home to finish. So a really nice little stretch for Knights, and they'll be pushing hard to try and make the finals. So guys like Ponga, Marzu, really, really solid guys. So look out Dane Gagai for this home stretch. Those types of players will be good. Broncos, just hard to even jump on any of them other than maybe a Pat Carrigan, and just hold the other guys except for Payne Haas. Obviously they played this week against the Cows, but then have a bye the following week in round 24. Eagles, now that they've got through their bye, it's a really nice stretch of games. You got the Raiders away, Warriors at home, Tigers away, into Dogs and Sharkies to finish. But especially this next 3 games will be a good fun one. There should be plenty of points on offer in all 3 of those games. And yeah, could you jump on Garrick? Do you jump on Turbo, Olakau'atu, DCE? Really solid one to look at there for sure. DCE is a big standout this week, I think, and that's why they're on number 1 on my list of buys. The Eagles. Warriors, they've got Dolphins into Eagles, into Dogs there, before the Sharks and then their bye. So still 1 bye remaining for them, which causes a little bit of a headache, obviously, for round 27, which will be a heavy resting round for those that are in top 4s, top 8. So keep that in mind. But still a couple of guys, like if you want to jump on the... I actually have to mention too, I was really sad about this last night, about SJ announcing his retirement. What a player, what a career, what a man. He deserves all the accolades. He deserves all the love that he's going to get over this last 4 games for him. And I think I'm going to try and get to that Sharks home game for his last game there. And if you live in New Zealand, obviously try and get to, I think, the Dogs game. There he is, obviously at home there. So there's only 1 game at home left. So I'm glad he announced it now so he can have a nice farewell. Warriors are basically out of contention for finals there, and hopefully, they can see him off well, and I'll try and get to that Sharks game if the tickets aren't sold out yet. That's for sure. So yeah, an incredible career, incredible man, as I said, and can't wait to watch him go around. And I'll watch each of those last 4 games, and it's just been a bit of a sad little ending the last month or so, and thankfully he's back, and hopefully he can play through those 4 games well, and he can be seen off right into the sunset for an incredible career. And we can think about last year's run to the finals for a long time. And obviously, I think all the touch footy videos are going to be starting to roll out over the next few weeks as well with how incredible he was there and the tries that he was able to produce for the Warriors over the years. Roosters, they have a bye this week. So I think you're holding most of them, to be fair, and just waiting for their little run of Eagles, Titans, Raiders, and Rabbitohs following that bye. So they'll be a fun team to purchase come round 24. With Manu and these types of guys, Teddy and the rest. Cowboys, they play the next 2 against Broncos and the Raiders, then have a bye and then go Storm Dogs. So still a fairly tough little run for them. No one really stands out as a screaming bye as coming up into this run, especially with last week getting the good scores and being a little bit more expensive. I can't see Val Drinky going absolutely nuts from here on in. Last week was the time to buy them. I think you've missed that little stretch, and hopefully Cotter does come back as well, which will be fun. I'm hoping for him to have really good games against some of these guys, and I'm pretty happy that Payne Haas won't be running at Cotter this week. But that's a very quick and simple impact to the next 3 games, guys. And we've got Eagles number 1 on the hit list. You've got Dogs number 2, Knights number 3, and then I've got the Roosters next week after their bye. They're going to be a really awesome team to look at purchasing, but obviously still a good chance of rest risk for the Roosters coming into that last round or so, if they're in a top 4 position and in a good spot. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We're getting to the back end of the season, 5 rounds to go. I wish you guys all the best of luck for your final trades over the next month or so, and go the Cowboys.